Jose Ramirez defeats Viktor Postol via majority decision. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest. Now let's talk about it. Jose Ramirez retains his titles, and he defeated Viktor Postol on ESPN. I just watched the fight. I don't know how to feel. I think the fight was a good fight, solid action, good pacing. I'm leaning more towards Postol, maybe even a draw, depending on how you score. I got to really go back and watch some of the early rounds. And nonetheless, I don't think Ramirez impressed. I don't think his stock went up for this particular performance. Versus Maurice Hooker, that's what people kind of expected. His momentum was thwarted, trying to fight Postol 2 other times, but because of the Rona 19, the fight with Macau, China got canceled. Then they rescheduled in America, but by then the virus had already spread to America, so that got canceled. So I don't know. I'm not here to make excuses. They both were out of the ring for 16 to 18 months, and styles make fights. I thought Viktor Postol was doing good, and it's actually surprising considering how Jose Ramirez, how aggressive he is, and coming off the Hooker performance. That's his last in the ring performance. But it still looks like Jose Ramirez, he does have talent, but he struggles with the same thing. If you look back to another ESPN fight where he didn't look sensational, it was against the Zepeda dude. And I thought that was the same thing here. Now, the ESPN commentary, normally I agree with Andre Ward more than I agree with Tim Bradley. But it was weird because it was like Freaky Friday. On this telecast, Andre Ward had Jose Ramirez like pitching a shutout in the first 4 or 5 rounds. And then he said some rounds were swing. And I just didn't agree with his particular scorecard. And actually, my thoughts were closer in line with what Tim Bradley was saying. I thought Postol, if we're being fair, I thought Postol was boxing very well. He used his feet. He troubled Ramirez. Like, even in the early goings, he was using his feet and just boxing. You have to keep in mind the Ukrainian boxing program. A lot of fighters from that region, from Ukraine, they're very crafty. Angles, Lomachenko, angles. You see guys like Sergey Deryevchenko, angles. Postol was creating some angles. And a guy like Postol, he doesn't fight like Lomachenko, but what he does well is fundamentals. And you notice that with a lot of Eastern European fighters, not to, typecast them, but there's a lot of Eastern Europeans that straight punches and jabs and things of that nature, they're very good at. They've mastered the principles and the fundamentals. Now, why you see styles make fights, or when you put that style versus someone who could do that, but has that American style and can do like Andre Ward. That's why you see Ward Kovalev. Andre Ward beat him twice. First fight was close, but he beat him twice. Or Terrence Crawford versus Postol, because Crawford has different, he's rhythmic. He has different level of, he has dog in him. Just stuff that, you can get crazy sparring out here, doghouse rules, and a different level of athleticism and rhythmic movements and stuff like that. So it's different instead of straight up and down. I thought Viktor Postol, he wasn't doing anything all too flashy, but it was a great execution of the fundamentals. Similarly, it's like some guys are like that. Postol, Badu Jack, Danny Garcia. What they're doing, it's not going to ever look like Manny Pacquiao or Floyd or Roy Jones Jr. or something, but it's very effective. And I thought that's what we've seen. I thought Jose Ramirez's aggression was being used against him in much of the fight. And he was punching the ropes, and he was just looking overall sloppier than normal. He couldn't just have the shootout. There was a moment, round 5, 6 or so, where he did have a left hook that caught Postol as he was backing up, and it hurt him, buzzed him, but no knockdowns in this whole fight. So that's not a 10-8 round or anything, but it was a round you gave to Jose Ramirez. But I didn't agree with the Ward scorecard. He had the first 4 or 5 rounds for Ramirez based on aggression, but I thought he was also being matadored by Postol. So some of those rounds could have went either way. And then Andre Ward was saying things like rounds 9 and 10. I thought those were definite rounds for Viktor Postol. Very good 1-2, pop, pop. get out the way, clinch, tie up a little bit, like Klitschko, who's also from the Ukraine, etc. Right? So I thought 9, especially 10, Ward said they were like swing rounds. I didn't see those as swing rounds. I thought, if we're looking at what work is being done, I didn't see Ramirez doing enough in those rounds. And then in the 12th round, I thought Postol definitely won that. So you could really make the case that Postol won this fight. Ramirez, he was following and trying to make the ring small, but he just couldn't get off. He looked a bit ring rusty. But that being said, Jose Ramirez is a good fighter. I don't know if I fully agree. I might have to watch this one back just for some of the close early rounds or whatnot. But good fight. Jose Ramirez, he was throwing some good hooks and stuff, but he had a moving target, and that made him, and the arm reach and the length of Postol, that just gave him all the problems in the world. So he clearly struggles with guys who can box as well. And Postol's 37, and he's been through wars. He's been stopped, or actually hasn't been stopped, but he's been through wars like with Terrence Crawford and stuff. So it kind of makes you wonder if this was Postol back in the day when he was coming off the Lucas Matisse. So Postol, he was doing good. He was just doing basic boxing, and that was definitely enough to create avenues and, arguably win the fight for him. Let me know what you guys think. Who won this particular fight? And don't bet with your feelings. Clinically break down what you've seen. Either way, I think Jose Ramirez, with this performance, his stock dropped. The third time's the charm. They finally fought. And I think people coming off of the performance he was coming off of with Hooker, I think people expected a bit more, especially since it was Postol. I get it, he's never been stopped, but there were no knockdowns or nothing. I thought Postol ultimately boxed smart. It did put stuff into deeper perspective. In my personal opinion, I am of the belief that there's no way people were talking about Jose Ramirez versus Josh Taylor. That's a solid fight at 140. But they were also talking about Ramirez moving up to 147 to fight Terrence Crawford. Absolutely not. I don't think that would be in Crawford's best interest to, in Ramirez's best interest to fight Crawford. I see too much from Crawford. Ambidextrous, power in both hands, switch hitter, speed, athleticism. That would be a real rough fight for Jose Ramirez based on how he looked, because Crawford's a dog too. He's not going to just sit there and let you tee off on him. And I don't know. I don't see any way that Ramirez moves up to 147 and beats Crawford. So they should probably scratch that idea. If Josh Taylor beats Ramirez and then he moves up, I don't know, because that's a whole different fight. But based on what I've seen, and it's not just this fight, I look at the full picture. Just stylistically, I don't see that. And the thing that was interesting with Ward's scorecard, and Ward's my dude, that's my dude, but I'm just, I have the freedom to disagree. The thing that makes me believe what I was seeing and what I was tweeting, what I was saying, there was some truth to it, is because Jose Ramirez's own trainer, he sounded like he had a sense of urgency in the corner. He was like, man, come on, show me your heart. He said that right before the 12th round started. Or before that, he's like, come on, Jose, we need these last 2 rounds. We need the rounds. And he was saying stuff like that. So that's not skullduggery. I think it's because Jose Ramirez wasn't looking that good. You know what I'm saying? In this particular performance, he looked flat. He was getting his head rocked. And the thing is this, there's a lot of guys that he probably has a chin or something. If you don't have a certain level of power, you might not be able to stop him. But, it's still scoring shots. You still got to give Postol credit for the scoring shots, be it a jab, body shot. There was even a moment where Postol was landing some vicious uppercuts. And I don't know. I just thought through its entirety, Postol, all things considered, what he's been through, who he's fought, who he's lost to, losing to Josh Taylor and Terrence Crawford, and where Ramirez is, I expected a lot more, because I thought Ramirez was the fresher of the two, and Postol's 37 and, not necessarily the same. That's what people thought. So you got to go back and give a lot of credit to Terrence Crawford. I was at Crawford Postol, and Crawford, and that's another thing Andre Ward said that I disagree with. Andre Ward said Josh Taylor beat Postol, and so did Terrence Crawford. He said they both weren't stellar performances. I don't know about Josh Taylor, because I got to watch that fight again. I did see it, but it's not one that stands out. But I was at Crawford Postol, And I thought Crawford was dog walking Postol. You know, he dropped him 2-3 times and even was giving him chances in the 12th round. And Postol was like gun shy, and Crawford was like trying to dog him. And Postol needed a knockout to win, and he wouldn't engage with Crawford in the 12th round. So I don't agree with what Ward said regarding that wasn't a stellar performance from Crawford. I think Crawford made it look like easy work, and then some people, you know, hated on Crawford and said, oh, you ain't fought nobody. But like Roy said, it's not that he didn't fight nobody, I just made him look like nobody, you know. So I disagree with a couple of statements, you know, that I've depicted in this video. Even post fight, I interviewed with Freddie Roach, and he was like, oh, you know, Terrence Crawford, he's too fast. Like he was saying he's too fast, and then people start bringing up Pacquiao versus Crawford, and he was saying basically he didn't really like that fight for Pacquiao, and we need to train for. So that, to me, Crawford did look stellar, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. If you did have Ramirez winning, tell me what rounds. I like I said, I could probably go back. It was a solid fight on ESPN, but I thought Ramirez's aggression wasn't getting off just from basic fundamentals and basic boxing. You know, let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We work. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.